You judge a man or a woman's character by how they act in adversity. And when you're out there with turkeys making a damn fool out of you and they're going to do it, I don't care how smart you are, you're going to find out how well do they take disappointment. Do they bounce back and come on, or do they pout? And if they pout and want to take their bat and ball and go home to mama, okay. But you know what kind of folks you're dealing with. Any turkey season that starts nowadays, the first 3-4 days of the season, well, you can't find a place to park in the woods. Or if you're in a club, every club member is there and he's brought a guest. Let 2 or 3 days go by and that thins down, and by the time you come to the last week of the season, you're right down to the we precious few, this band of brothers. Two kind of folks. One kind of folk wants to set a real easy goal so he can make them and he can say, look at me. The other kind is the kind, and I'm one of those, I would rather look bad trying to do something hard than look good trying to do something easy. A person who hunts turkeys all his life is almost invariably in that latter category. He wants to do something hard, he wants it tough. Every good turkey hunter you know has got all these stories about the ones that got away. He ain't talking about the dead one stiffening in the back of the pickup truck. He whipped my again. Turkey hunting ain't sitting on the edge of a dove field and seeing can you kill 10 straight. Turkey hunting, you gotta think. In turkey hunting, when you make a mistake, it's almost always something you did 20 minutes ago and you can't go back and fix it. You never learn it, and in my opinion, there are no experts.
Yep, soft flank carry a big stick. We have the man, my hero and cousin's hero. From way in childhood, he is the man.
Rios are good turkeys. The bad rap that Rio has got, I think, had to have been issued by people that never saw a Rio. The story that I had heard before I came over here is you're going over there and shoot those turkeys that roost on fence posts. The ones that don't roost on fence posts roost on power lines. They run in droves of at least 200. If you can find a place where there's water, all you got to do is sit there and wait and pick out the fat ones or the long-bearded ones. And it really ain't turkey hunting. And even if you go, you really ought not to tell anybody about it because it's sort of sinful, and you really don't. You know, your purity factor is better than that.
Mr. Kelly said he saw a turkey run off.
They appear to me to be bigger than our turkeys. They clearly got bigger feet. But they are just as wild as our turkeys. They just as you can't make any more mistakes with them than you can with ours. I'm pretty good at it myself, really screwing one up. Maybe a little bit of difference in the way a turkey acts if all his life he has lived in great big droves of turkeys. These turkeys are a lot of fun, and they're just as hard to deal with as turkeys in Alabama, and they will have embarrassed me just as much as turkeys do in Alabama. I don't know how many we heard up and down that ridge. every bit of 12 or 15, and I really couldn't tell because one would start and one would be gobbling before he stopped. I sort of partially believe that they sit on fence posts and power lines, and why I got to drive all the way out there to go. You stay out there 4 days and kill 4 turkeys and then come on back, and I just didn't really want to do it. Turkey hunting, in my opinion, is supposed to be hard, which is why I object to a lot of the newer things that folks do to make it easy. And I sort of just took the opinion that, well, I ain't going out there and doing that. I know them folks, they're nice folks, but they don't know no better, you know. It's and I don't want to stop anybody from doing anything. Like I stole this line from King Edward VII when he said people can do whatever they want to as long as they don't do it in the street and scare the horses. And hunting the Rios didn't scare the horses, but I didn't really want to do none of it. I am sorry I waited this long, and if anybody is foolish enough to ask me back, I'm coming back again just as quick as they'll let me.
I think that turkey's gonna come. Watch to your left. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
We might as well admire his handiwork. Just a little. Oh, he's forever in the strut position now. Look at that. Now right in here, they look the same.
Yeah, right there they do.
And even pretty much on the wings, but then you get back here, they get that khaki.
Yeah, I have seen some of ours.
A little more white.
These secondaries would be almost reddish.
Mm-hmm.
Toxey he charges hard. He's done a great thing and built a great business by being a hard charge. And he's a good turkey hunter. He works well.
It's a beautiful spot right here. He's coming.
Everybody's yelping is better than mine. His yelping is better than mine, but then and I've said this for years, my yelping is better than that of most hens. Hens don't know how to yelp at all. No, Toxey's easy going. He's a nice fellow. I am sorry I waited this long, and if anybody is foolish enough to ask me back, I'm coming back again just as quick as they'll let me.
Yeah, I like that right there. Here we go. That flash went off, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Instead of putting the makeup on, they say, get the big man out of my teeth.
We got some good ones, guys.
These people are just absolute delightful. It's a marvelous ranch, and that's an awfully fancy bunkhouse we stayed in. That bunkhouse we stayed in is about 3 times as good as the house I live in. You know. These are first-class folks. I am convinced that your mind is a muscle. And if you don't do something to keep your mind active, you age all over, not just in the mind. And turkey hunting absolutely demands that you think all the time, because there's a marvelous line in Shakespeare that says, age cannot wither her, nor custom stale her infinite variety. Make the hers hymns and turn it to turkeys, and it's that way. This is my 70th season hunting turkeys. Not alive, 70th season hunting turkeys. I'm not going to last to get to 100 seasons, and I know that. But if I lasted to 150, I would still be doing dumb things. You never learn it, and in my opinion, there are no experts. It was about 1968, because it was the year after my daughter was born, or the year after that. I hunted in a good place all year and never heard a turkey gobble, not one time all spring. I called people up, I said, I'm getting deaf. I've had something happen to me. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, and I have no idea what caused it. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I'd be so damn rich there ain't but 3 or 4 folks in the world that I would bother to talk to after they spoke to me first. I am not a professional writer. I know less about the placement of commas and semicolons than any man who ever lived in the world. My grammar is atrocious. I think people like to read something that's done by somebody who is not interested in trying to impress them, is not trying to instruct them, and is not being moralistic. Here's a guy who had a good time doing something and he wants to tell you about it. And ever since you were that big, and somebody, we used to call it telling shows. The kid who went to the picture show would come back and tell the show to the kids that wasn't there. I'm a show teller. The relationship I had with the guy that I was talking about in there was a long one. It was 40 years long. We got along together great. For most of that time, he worked for me, but that didn't matter. I mean, it was not boss and worker. It was 2 human beings. And I think everybody somewhere in his memory has got a human being that it may have been a relative, it may not have been somebody that he was really a kindred spirit with. And when that kindred spirit goes away, for a while at least, he's half a man. Some of the people that come up in front of me at that thing, and say, I saw that show, and they say that you and Cuz made. It ain't you and Cuz, it's Cuz and me, but that's the way they say it. I saw that show that you and Cuz made, and I cried. It was absolutely uncanny the way he thought like turkey. I believe he could scatter one in Bienville Square in downtown Mobile. The second service was called the funeral oration, and at this one the preacher informed the congregation as to what direction, in his opinion, the soul of the deceased had gone. I would have been willing to bet that there had not been one delivered in this state, even in one of the backwoods serpent-handling congregations since 1910. But I am pretty well convinced that last Easter Saturday morning in Pickens County, Alabama, I heard one. There was a first-class natural blind in a clump of buckeye bushes at the base of a 2-foot ash, and all I had to do was sit down and get comfortable. There were positively 4 turkeys. I am morally certain there were 5, and they gobbled at every sound but one. All of these turkeys flew down on the ground within 5 minutes after I got there, and the gobbling on the ground was unlike anything I have ever heard. They gobbled at crows, at owls, at a pair of red-shouldered hawks. They gobbled at wood ducks. They gobbled at each other. They gobbled at every single sound but me. I never got an answer. I never made any turkey stop gobbling. I was treated from beginning to end completely as a non-person. No sound I made or didn't make had any effect upon the proceedings whatsoever until they all finally shut up and walked off. The thought occurred to me on the way back home that it was just as if I had been attending a performance. And then I was struck with the thought that maybe I had been. Maybe it was a funeral oration handled from the other side. It was never written that the oration had to be delivered in the English language. Nobody ever said the orator had to be wearing black broadcloth rather than feathers. Maybe when these things are handled from the far side rather than the near, they do them in a different way, and that this was simply a collection of his new friends sent down here to tell the world they had welcomed him through the gates. As far as I was concerned, the entire oration, if there was one, was conducted simply as a matter of confirmation and only served to convince those persons still in doubt. There was no need for it at all if it was being done for my benefit. I already knew which way he went.